When life falls apart, when the job disappears, when the person you love walks away, when silence fills a home that used to feel alive, we all reach for something to hold on to, something that reminds us we're still human, something that whispers, "You can make it through this." That something is consolation. But what does that really mean? Is it comfort? Is it peace? Or is it something deeper, a way of transforming pain into meaning? Today, we'll explore what it truly means to find consolation, and whether peace can be discovered even in the darkest moments of life. This idea isn't new. Over 1500 years ago, a Roman philosopher named Boethius sat alone in a prison cell, awaiting execution. He had lost everything: his freedom, his reputation, his power. Yet from that darkness, he wrote one of the most profound works in human history, the Consolation of Philosophy. In it, Boethius imagines a conversation with Lady Philosophy, a vision of wisdom itself, who reminds him that fortune is fleeting, that pain is part of life, and that peace can only be found within the mind. He discovered what many of us forget. Even when the world collapses, your thoughts remain your own. And in mastering the mind, you master your fate.
We've all felt the weight Boethius wrote about. You wake up and the air feels heavy. The world moves, but you don't. The noise of life becomes a distant hum, and all you can hear are your own thoughts, the what-ifs and if-onlys that replay endlessly. It's like being lost in a tunnel with no light, walking forward only because you don't know what else to do. Pain isolates. It convinces you that you're the only one who's ever felt this way, that no one could possibly understand. But the truth is, suffering is universal. The faces change, the stories change, but the feeling is the same. A quiet ache that reminds us we're fragile and human. So where does consolation come from? It begins with recognition, acknowledging the pain instead of running from it. You sit in silence, breathe, and say, "This is how it feels right now." That simple act, honesty with yourself, opens a door to healing.
Then comes understanding. You start to see that emotions are waves. They rise, crash, and fade. Consolation is not about erasing those waves, but learning how to float on them without sinking. Finally, there's acceptance. Not passive surrender, but active peace. You stop fighting what you can't control and start finding meaning in what remains. This is the process Boethius described from his cell, the movement from despair to wisdom, from chaos to clarity. Not because his situation changed, but because he changed. True consolation lives in the space between thought and reaction, that brief pause where you decide how to interpret your pain. When something is taken from you, your job, your relationship, your sense of security, the first instinct is resistance. But the deeper truth is this: nothing external can steal your inner freedom unless you hand it over. The Stoics called this the sovereignty of the soul. Boethius lived it, and it remains one of the most empowering truths we can learn. You cannot control fortune, but you can control your response to it. Peace doesn't mean you stop feeling sadness. It means sadness no longer owns you. Consolation often arrives quietly, not through people or philosophy, but through life itself. It might be the calm of early morning light touching your face, the sound of rain against the window when your thoughts are too loud, the rhythm of your breath, steady, constant, alive. These small moments remind you that despite everything, the world continues, and in its rhythm you can find your own again. The mind begins to soften. the heart begins to breathe. And little by little, peace returns, not because life got easier, but because you learned how to see differently. Boethius wrote that fortune is like the turning of a wheel. Sometimes you rise, sometimes you fall. But the wise person stands at the center, unmoved by the spin. Stillness is strength. It's the quiet conviction that even if everything falls apart, you will rebuild. That your worth doesn't depend on the outside world, but on the light you carry within. That light, resilience, perspective, compassion, is the truest form of consolation. If you want to cultivate this strength within yourself, reflect daily. Ask, what can I learn from this moment? Write, not to solve your pain, but to give it language. Connect. Even silent companionship can remind you that you're not alone.
And pause. Take time to simply be, to let your thoughts settle and your spirit rest.
In these small practices, the storm begins to quiet. You start to see that consolation isn't found, it's built, slowly, from patience and perspective. Boethius discovered that peace isn't the absence of suffering, it's the mastery of it. He found serenity not through escape, but through understanding. His lesson is timeless. The world can take much from you, your comfort, your plans, your certainty, but it can never take your ability to think, to learn, and to find meaning. That's the essence of consolation. Not a cure for pain, but a transformation through it. So, if you're standing in the dark right now, remember, the light you're searching for isn't somewhere out there. It's already within you. This is Limitless Mindset, reminding you that your limits aren't where you think they are. Keep learning, keep standing tall, and I'll see you in the next one.